Okay, last video, we are down to finishing touches. FYI, in case you are following along, I found my staple board. It was right underneath my eyeballs the whole time. Anyways, I did go ahead and do a couple additional things. I added the hitch post. And this is a Tim Holtz fastener, and this is what they look like. It's just two pieces, and you take one of the, male and female ends and put your paper between it. And they come in different colors. So I did add that, and on the back I did use my, I believe it's Crocodile, to make a punch, and then I did use eyelets before I threaded my elastic cord here. So I'll show you those. I have several eyelets, but this pack I picked up at Michael's, and it matches the Tim Holtz line pretty well. And you only have to use one. And I did thread my elastic cord through. I get my elastic cords at Dollar Tree, and I'll show you those real quick. I should have pulled those down. So you may recognize those. You can get them anywhere, these elastic cords. All right. Now, one additional thing, I also coat my journals with clear acrylic sealer. You can use just regular Mod Podge and brush over it, but I like this because it leaves a nice feeling to it. And then I don't think it's completely 100% waterproof, but you can then get things on your journal. I gotta put a puppy up on the chair. I did want to let you know as well, if you've been watching my embellishments, I had to cut that down to 2. I had to cut a lot of things out. I learned I could only upload so much. But now we're going to do page protectors or corner protectors, book protectors, whatever you want to call them, metal corners. I picked these up at Michael's. You can usually get them with a 40% off coupon. Again, they come in the matchy colors, so they're a great thing to use. I have a list here, everything I want to make sure I get. I ran out of the color I'm looking for, so I'm going to open up a new pack and get this copper color out so it all matches. You can also pick these up in the Tim Holtz line. They're a little bit different on design, but they work just as, I actually prefer the Recollections brand because they seem to be a little bit more sturdier. So we're going to grab those, and there's a lot of background noise going on. So I'll put one on there, and then I'll put the other ones on off camera. So what I like to do, I have my pliers here. And I take one and push it down like that, just so it catches the end of the book. And then I put it on the book, if I get it the right way. And then I just take my pliers and let me move some stuff here so I can scooch this back. I always start with my back because if I mess up, I just get my hands ready before I go to the front. And then I just push it down with the pliers. And if you want, I'm looking here, you can apply some glue just for some extra added security. But you don't have to. I just stick it on there, that way then it's becomes pretty permanent. Becomes permanent. And then there I just take my pliers. And push down my other end. There may be a better method to this, but that's all you do for then the metal corners. And see how pretty it just finishes off a journal so nice. So I'll do the other 3 because I only have limited time. And I also wanted to add too, there's a lot of wonderful tutorials out there on YouTube. So, you know, you can take your ideas, someone else's ideas, and kind of mix and match and make them, you know, whatever you want. So let's walk through the journal. I think those are the big things I wanted to get to: the finish, the book corners, the hitch post, the elastic, and we're gonna, well, we can do that now. I'm gonna do a charm. So this is a pre-made charm I got at Michael's. Usually I make my own, but again, you know, if you're just starting out and you're going to get the minimum supplies, grab yourself a pre-made journal or pre-made charm. And let me get that out of there. It's my first time trying a pre-made, to be honest with you. Okay, it's just a piece of tape. I wanted to show you the packaging. I guess I could have taken that out of there, though. There's a lot of noise here because everybody's out getting rid of their snow. They're trying to do the best they can do. I need to grab some scissors. And it's a mess. Okay. So what I noticed when I looked at this at first, I said, oh, it doesn't fit over the jump ring. And so I have some jump rings in here I'm going to grab. You can also use your own elastic cording, as you don't have to use I always call them a hair bow, but you don't have to use that, like a ponytail holder. I'm just grabbing a jump ring here. And then I also wanted to, before I forget, just talk about distressing. I don't know if you wanted to go into that, if I should distress this book. I'm just opening my jump ring. I'm going to attach the charm to it. And then attach that to the elastic. And then we need to go back in and close it up. So you can see I've made, you know, some mistakes throughout this whole series, but I think that's just what happens when you're making something homemade. Some frustrations, some rewards. And I'm just going to close that back up. And if I was standing over the book, I would check to make sure it's going to be going the right way. And I can fix this afterwards. I just wanted to show you. Again, my wrists are not the best, but it's doable. I try not to twist the jump ring too much. So that's attached. You can see how it kind of dangles there. And then when you come across, you can just attach that jump ring, which needs to be fixed a little bit more. Like so, and there you have a charm. If we were going to distress, I would probably use either maybe this antique linen, or so just something to kind of match it up. I could probably go a little bit darker, so that's your choice. I might or may not do it. I'm not sure yet. It's so pretty just how it is. And I truly do like it, and I think it's going to be very pretty with the book corner, so I may just leave it. But that's an option. So you can see there, it got pretty chunky. Just do a quick walkthrough, and again, they're just finishing touches. I kind of went back through it, added some journal cards. There, do you remember us doing that? Some writing pages. There's that doily with the journal card we made. The tag, that tracing paper, Here's where I did put the envelopes. So each one of these open up. I use my envelope maker. You can store like photos or a note, and then more for just to let you know, or when I do this thing, I just put things in there to let someone know who receives this book. Oh, okay, there's a spot for that. I don't necessarily like the cards. They're okay, I mean, but it's more like a, okay, here, put this in here. Since I found my stapler, I did make a little booklet, and I just tucked it away in there. There is a tag, and this is being held on by a binder clip that has a charm with a jump ring on it. On this side, I just attached a bag I had made at one point, and then instead of scrapping that butterfly, it can be a bookmark. There's that big pocket we made with the tag on the top. You remember us making that? You pull a paper clip, it opens up, and then there's a journal card in there. Some more writing area. I did move this from the back up to the front. Again, this is an envelope with some writing paper and a label that you can put on the envelope. That fits down there very nice. There's that little flip up. That is the graph paper. Again, more writing area. And the end of our first signature. Second one, I just did almost like a little kit. It has a bag, it has a journal card, it has a paper clip and some paper flowers. And that can be made into a gift or just for record keeping. Again, the tracing paper. Here I made a tag, and this inspiration came from Jan's Crazy Life. She did a recent tag video. Just some scrap pieces of paper put together, and then I just took and now it's stuck in the glue, there we go. A long strip, and I folded it up almost like a matchbook, and then slipped it in there. Can be wrote on all over the place. Just slipped underneath that paper clip that's holding this tag with the flag and the camera. Another little tag slipped in there. This is some, remember in the beginning, that cardboard, the canvas doily, we had cut that in half, and I just added a little inspirational quote, I guess. More writing. This is a journal card at 7 Gypsies. I took a square piece of paper, just cut it and slipped it in there, and now it's a corner tuck spot. Over here, I remember that big sheet of journaling cards we had, and I really wanted to get rid of those. Paper clipped in some of the journaling cards. You can write in them or cut them apart. And then took 2 cards, taped them together, and then used again my little circle punch to make a pocket. There's the back, there's the front. And then just held it in by the paper clip to give a little color. Again, what's nice about the cardstock or any of the paper, but when it's a pocket like this, you can actually stamp and it won't bleed through. So that's a good tip to know. There's that bag we inserted. I just stuck a journaling card in there. And there is the back, so you can write on it. I cut some of this out. Again, I had to condense it down. I was running out of time. So I made some tickets and just inserted them in there. And then I did the three, like the tri-fold paper, and put a small inspiration that says, "May I say yes to new adventures." Folded it, and then now it tucks underneath the piece of acetate that I glued on. And I think in the video it shows me saying I will trim that down because I couldn't get it to go underneath there. So that's what that was about. Our shimmer misted purple paper. Tracing our thinner paper. Here is the middle of the second signature. I made a nice wide pocket. I almost put those envelopes there, and I thought, no, I'm gonna stick to my plan. I made a large envelope, so now you can tuck things in there, and it hides that bad knotting I did with the twine. Another journal card that we taped down to hide some blemish that was underneath from me cutting off the end of the bag. Just some journaling cards that have been made into a book. And this is just paper I stapled in. And I slip that in there. I like that it gives some sturdiness to these bags. Again, with the scraps, the cardboard, and I put a vellum butterfly, and this was out of that. You know, had some extra ephemera kind of thing. And then here, these are Project Life journaling cards, and then a piece of scrap that I just made for more of a color background. And I thought it suited this well. And it doesn't have to live in this home. You can take it out and write in it and stick it somewhere else, or just don't have to like it, you know, you have to have it in there. Remember, we made this vertical band, and this is just a blank card. I rounded the corners, put a paper clip, and then over here, I was showing you where I was going to glue it in. Well, actually I taped it in, and it's just being held by a paper clip. And then this opens up, and you can write. And then there's a tuck spot. And then I just put the paper clip on here because on the other side, I have a tag that just some vellum, a flag tag, and again, tried and just did the fold just to give it something, and then clipped it in. This is all just scrap stuff I've thrown out. So I just kept making things with it. More writing area. I think we may not have made this pocket together. So here I took a piece of scrap. I bordered the edge. I glued it down and left it open on top. Made a tag that can be written on. Put a button on it. And see, I usually leave these loose because not everybody's into the string or the buttons or whatever. And then here I just took a piece of paper that would have been scrap and just did a fold with it. And then tucked it behind to give it a little bit of color. And I just try to tuck that in because don't want it to get bent. Now it's not going to stay. Let me do that. There we go. So it just gives it some color. Again, scrap. I lined it with some stained paper. We cut out the butterflies, glued them down, and now this sticks little tuck spot there. Again, more scrap where we cut out the butterfly. A piece of that acetate, a piece of scrap, and some journaling cards. All right, the back page, our library card. And last but not least, we flip this over here on its side. I had to go grab my pen because you have to sign your artwork. And I usually choose to put my signature down here. And I would like to get a stamp someday, but I just right now ink there. And you can see how it looks on the side, on the top, the spine. So pretty, huh? And then you bring over your jump ring and you secure it onto the fastener. And there you go. So if you've made it this far, thank you for sticking with me and watching, and hopefully you're making your own journal. I would love to know how your results come out. But this one's being given away to one of you. I'm going to leave this open. I think I'll close it. I wrote a date down here, the 12th of April at 7 p.m. I'll close it. And then I'll do like a random comment picker. And if you win, I'll send this out to you. So I would, you know, for the comment, you can just say, enter me would be great. Or anything. I pretty much accept any comment as long as it's nice. And we'll give this away. And how great would that be? This was so much fun. I'm not great at tutorials, but this was a lot of fun to make. I'm glad I finally did it. And I want to thank you again for joining me. If you would, please don't forget to hit subscribe and stick around for more videos, because I do like to do all the crafty hauls, and I'm working on another journal. Yes, this inspired me to get moving to get more journals done. All right, thank you again. Have a great day. Take care. Bye-bye.